Oh my heavens, I have a million. I think I have a lot of examples. Personality-wise, I was really geeky growing up. I mean, high school was hard for me because I didn't fit into the way of life that, my high school kind of what's the word I'm looking for? I grew up in Clovis, and there's this whole motto there, it's a Clovis way of life, and all this stuff. And I was good at sports, so I fit in good in that way, and I feel like I got a good education there. But it was hard to be a teenager there. You were supposed to fit into all these roles that I didn't really fit into, and it was hard to be kind of geeky, although I'm glad I was now. Now, looking back, I'm glad I was. But it was hard being a teenager, and I struggled, and I was hurt by other people on like a regular basis. And so I was definitely a teenager once, and I worried about my grades and what my parents would think and whether or not I was good enough to do things in the future. And I fall down a lot still, which I think, makes me still kind of humble in that way, that I don't feel bigger or smarter or better than anybody else I'm sharing my space with, which includes my students. And so I think in a lot of ways, I still act like I used to when I was in high school, so I still have a sense of what that's like.
I was in band. Actually, I was a band nerd and a French nerd, because that was my main focus. I was not really into ASB, I played softball, there you go. But not throughout the entire high school. I didn't like the politics of it, so I stopped. So I really focused on band, but I don't know. I just think back on my high school years and just laughing and messing around. Like, sometimes I see you guys like texting and like laughing to each other, and I'm like, oh, kids are the same. It's just different. Like, I instead of texting, I would just write notes. Like, my French notebooks, they're full of just like letters and letters of my friends, and I like passing notes in class. And we say like kids are so bad nowadays, but really I think that all teenagers are kind of naughty sometimes. I think the worst thing I ever did I don't know why I did it, peer pressure maybe, but it was my like senior year, and my friends were like, oh, look at that nerdy freshman. And so I had this like plastic bag, and I ran over and put the bag over her head and then like ran off. I like bagged her, and I'm like, I think back and I'm like, why would I do that? That's the stupidest thing. This poor little girl couldn't even breathe probably. Why would I do that? But it's because our brains aren't fully developed in high school, and you can't process, why am I going to do this? And so you just make stupid mistakes. I'm still embarrassed by that. It was horrible. I feel bad.
I laughed at that question when I read it on your list. And I could think of one thing. I mean, one thing that would probably resonate with. When I was in college, I sang in a vocal group called the Pershing Squares. That we sang at not very many venues. We did it mostly for our own fun. But yeah, so I was in a pop group back then. That's about as close as I could come.
What is a teenager? It makes me uncomfortable to say this is what a teenager is, but as I thought about it, I thought, what if a teenager, if a young person is supposed to be take chances, if they're supposed to take chances and dream big dreams, well, yeah, I dreamed big dreams when I was a kid. I wanted to walk across the United States. I wanted to collect every insect in the state of California. I wanted to have a garden where I could grow all of my food, so I could have my own organic garden. Those were my kind of dreams when I was a kid, And I don't think it's any different today. Yeah, people have other dreams, but I think teenagers are the same all throughout history. It's just that now they have cell phones. That's all I have.